He is the man of the moment in the CPM, a man that political pundits were saying till last week would not continue in the hot seat, but somehow managed to beat all odds and got his party to endorse his political line at the Hyderabad Party Congress. Joining us today is the CPM General Secretary Sitaram Yechury. Comrade, thank you for speaking with News 18. Congratulations on your re-election, by the way.
Thank you.
But tough times ahead, considering the fact that elections are just a year away. So what do you see as the biggest challenge for the party in the next year?
Well, the biggest challenge for the party is actually to create the momentum for a policy-based alternative to what is happening to the country. When we think there are multifold assaults, I mean not even challenges, I would say, assaults being mounted by the current RSS-backed BJP government. I mean, of these, we have identified 4 of these challenges that need to be met and reversed. One is this economic onslaught on the people. These neoliberal policies, and more aggressively than Dr. Manmohan Singh pursued, is what is happening in the country. The second is, of course, the sharpening of communal polarization. I mean, it's reached levels of dehumanization of the society, from what we are seeing about these children being raped, and you know, that sort of a thing is, it's benumbing the conscience of the country. The third is, of course, the assaults on your parliamentary institutions and the brazen manner in which they just violate everything, like the latest thing being that impeachment motion that we have seen. And the fourth area is that in terms of foreign policy, in terms of India's status, that has now been completely reduced to India becoming a compliant junior partner of the US in global affairs. So these 4 have to be challenged and reversed. That, we have decided, will have to be built on the basis of a powerful people's struggles for a policy-based alternative. But when elections come in, whenever elections happen, there we have said we will work out an appropriate, will adopt appropriate electoral tactics to pool the maximum anti-BJP vote without having any political alliance with the Congress.
So, Comrade, talking about alliances, are we going to see the formation of a Mahagarbandhan ahead of 2019? Is that likely?
It makes no consequence. It's not of much consequence. Any all India formation, as I told you earlier, can only happen post-elections. Because it's region specificities in India are so strong, and naturally so, given the diversity of our country and the plurality, it can't be otherwise. Now, given that, it will have to be region-specific understandings that will emerge, and that will coalesce together subsequently. Now, the entire discussion going on, will you go with this party or that party? I mean, there's nothing called monolithic politics in India. Take UP, for instance. If the SP and BSP get together, like they have done now, I mean, the way they defeated the BJP in the by-elections, neither the Congress nor the left is of much consequence. Take Bihar, similarly. Or take the whole of South minus Karnataka. The Congress is not a player at all. Take Orissa, Congress is not a player at all. So this big hoo-ha that's being created, will you go with so-and-so, will you go? It all depends, like it's always happened in our country. It all depends at the regional levels, because there are various regional dominant players that are there. And then, subsequently, post-election, let's see. Because remember, United Front was formed post-election in 96. The UPA was formed post-election in 2004. So never has any formation, so to speak, occurred before the elections in our country, and it can't, given our diversity.
But Comrade, in 2002, your party Congress had adopted a resolution saying that, you know, you must work with all secular parties to combat the BJP, which is the main enemy. You've had alliances with the Congress in Tamil Nadu, in West Bengal, etc. So, do you think that, you know, this entire controversy over the understanding with the Congress, which you finally came out, was rather more about a section within your own party questioning your leadership rather than any ideological position, that...
Well, you see, in 2002 also when we decided, we said without entering into any alliance or a front with the Congress. And that's always been the case. Even the Bengal example you've given, even the Tamil Nadu example you've given. The only place where that was a little aberration was in Andhra in 2004. But that was subsequently corrected, saying that was the case. So it was never a question of any alliance or a front. You're right. I mean, we've never had. In fact, I always maintain, though I don't believe and my party doesn't believe in intellectual property rights, but if there's only intellectual trademark, you have to give it to the CPIM for the concept called outside support. that has been our patent, outside support. So we never been part of any front any time. The question is, what sort of adjustments is possible? Suppose we are aligning with the DMK, let's say, in Tamil Nadu. Let us say, I mean, taking as an example, it's not that it's going to happen. It may not happen, may happen. But if the DMK has an alliance with the Congress, then does that preclude our understanding with the DMK? Now we are clear, no, it doesn't. So that is what is meant, saying that it doesn't close all the doors in that sense.
Comrade, you didn't answer my other question, which had
That I leave it to you. And why should I answer that? But we discuss our policies, we discuss our approaches. And that is what we have done in the party congress. All of you thought that it's going to be a big divided house, something is going to happen, etc. Everybody underestimated the strength of what is our inner party democracy.
While you may argue that it is inner party democracy at work, but the CPM has always been known for its iron discipline. Even if there was a rift in opinion or a differing view within the party, it is highly unusual for it, especially when it happens at the top echelon, to come out the way it had come out. So what you've seen panning out over the past few months is actually a very public difference of opinion within the top leadership. And do you think that has set a bad precedent for the rank and file?
Very unfortunate. In fact, that is what we also said. But you're right, even before in the run-up to the party congress, a lot of issues had come up which should not have come up for public domain and discourse. And that is the matter of serious concern. We are also worried about it. I mean, there's been also lots of leakages, lots of, campaigns run through outside the party I mean, this is something which needs to be checked and, in fact, actually eliminated.
But are you confident that you will be able to do it in your second term?
Well, we'll make an effort. We'll make the effort, and I'm sure if everybody cooperates, which I'm sure they will, we will be able to rid ourselves of this problem.
Talking about regions, what about Karnataka, Comrade? I mean, what is the strategy for Karnataka?
Well, Karnataka, what we have already taken the position and has been announced there is we are fighting a limited number of seats.
19 seats, I believe. But what about the other seats where?
I'll tell you. And the other seats where they are left candidates, we will support them, other left parties. Where there is none of the left, there we have given the call saying defeat the BJP.
Okay.
And that either it could be Janata Dal, it could be Congress, it could be whoever it is. But depending on that constituency, who can defeat the BJP? On that basis, we've asked. Our party will also work, and we have also appealed to the people to defeat the BJP.
But in case, as some some opinion polls are predicting, there is dead heat in Karnataka, is the CPM going to take the lead in ensuring that a secular alliance comes to power in Karnataka?
Right. We would like to, but it all depends on how many seats we win. Suppose we don't, and then it makes no difference.
No, will you play the mediator is my question.
You see, the role of a mediator will also come when you have a certain electoral strength post-election. If that happens, very good, that we will. But the objective would be to keep BJP out of power. That, I think, is absolutely the essence of the current political situation. Where for India's future, people's future, they have to be out of power.
Comrade, I know you asked me not to ask you questions about Kerala, but I'm going to ask you one question. In Kerala, the BJP is a growing force, and BJP has a fighting chance in many pockets, especially in the upcoming by-elections in Chenganur. And one of the first reactions that came from Kerala BJP after your re-election was that, the only thing that's left for the CPM to do now is to have a joint candidate with the Congress in Chenganur. Now, my question is this: if, let's say, in a state like Kerala, you are faced with the prospect of the BJP actually having a very strong candidate and the secular vote getting split between the Congress and CPM, would you rather work with the Congress to defeat that BJP candidate, or would you rather?
No way. Again, I can tell you, no way, because politics is not arithmetic. Please understand. I mean, I'm not such I won't use a strong word, I'm not such a novice to accept their things, saying that BJP, Congress have a common front and leave the field open. I mean, the left Congress have a common front, leave the field open for the BJP to be the only opposition force. I mean, nobody is going to be so foolish here. I mean, that's why I said politics is not arithmetic. You can't put 2 and 2 together and get 4 in politics. It could either be 0 or it could be 22. It all depends on the equations. The point at issue is that it is not us. But if you see the BJP's rise in Kerala, it is because it's the UDF vote that has been shifting there. And that is what it is. The anti-communist vote that is there in Kerala, a substantial section. That anti-communist vote is seeing today BJP as a more effective anti-communist force than the Congress. So the Congress base is what is shifting there, giving BJP the whatever you call that ascendancy curve. So that is what we will oppose, and I'm sure in Changanur also the BJP will not come anywhere close to winning.
That anti-communist vote, that's what helped the BJP win in Tripura too. Now that you are essentially reduced to a one-state party because you are only in power in Kerala, what do you see are the prospects of the party regaining power in Tripura or West Bengal? Are you confident about it?
It is going to be a long haul. It's going to be a bitter battle. BJP won in Kerala not only because of these shifts that you're talking of, but it also won in Kerala because it was very, very unscrupulous in making its deals. I mean, they give us moralistic lectures, but with a force like the IPFT, which initially wanted Tripura to secede from India. Now they're talking of a separate tribal, state, Tripura land, as they call it. Now the BJP tacitly had supported that, according to them. BJP is now denying after post-election that they didn't. So it is the cementing of all these unsavory elements, and with whom, on one hand, they give you slogans of nationalism and say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, etc., and all, and then they'll go and ally with those forces who don't want this unity of the country to be there. So this is led them to effectively put up. They succeeded, I must admit, of put up a one-to-one contest in Tripura. And that one-to-one contest naturally gave them the edge, because Tripura, remember, always we used to win because our vote percentage would be more than 50%. The moment it slides down below 50, if the opposition is united, index of opposition unity, they win. That's exactly what happened. Now, that is why I say it's going to be a bitter battle, because the entire attacks that have begun after that. I mean, the symbolic was, of course, the demolition of Lenin's statue and things like that. But the actual attacks on the ground and occupying your offices, attacking your comrades, rank and file, etc., this is a big battle that is there in Kerala, like it happened in Bengal. So it is going to be a battle. We will eventually overcome, but it may take some time.
Comrade, you have been highlighting 4 main challenges that the nation is facing. I would argue there is a 5th challenge which your colleague Dr. Thomas Isaac has been pointing out, which has essentially got to do with the central allocation and the 15th Finance Commission recommendations. Do you see the formation of a larger alliance against this proposal?
Federalism is one of the fundamental features of our constitution, according to the Supreme Court. And the center-state relations are a very essential part of your parliamentary democratic structures. Now that is being seriously eroded. Now we find the expressions of that coming in various aspects, and the most important aspect is in terms of financial allocations. Now all these, in the area of financial sharing between the center states, there has been a very, very strong bias under this government towards the center and away from the states. The 15th Finance Commission terms of reference is one issue at that. This will succeed, in my opinion, because all the southern states are the one who are going to lose most. And now I think it has reached the second level, where there's going to be not only the southern states, but also the non-BJP states and their finance ministers, who are likely to meet soon in the capital of Andhra Pradesh, in the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. And from there, I think the agenda will move to Delhi, and then it will be a big issue. And I think all the non-BJP state governments will come together on this, and it could also be a vehicle for a political mobilization. So anything to do with the states or devolution of democracy, that is being severely attacked. And that is the move. Destruction of parliamentary institutions. The objective is to concentrate power, concentrate authority in the center, and from the center into one individual or one office, which is the Prime Minister's. What is the meaning of the simultaneous elections? Remember, in 1952 and 1957, elections were simultaneous. Why did that cycle break? Because 57, you had an EMS Namboothiri Path communist government here, which the then Congress party decided to dismiss. And as long as you have Article 356, this complementarity of simultaneous 5 years can never exist. You see, and given India's democracy, I mean, there will be coalition governments. If some major partner of the coalition moves out for any reason, you can't have an illegitimate government continuing to be in office for 5 years, which is what Mr. Modi is proposing now.
But what you mean by struggles is actually a resurgence of neoliberalism, an attraction of the youth towards neoliberal values, which you have seen in the past couple
now
of years.
Look at the peasantry's long march to Mumbai. That's not neoliberalism. That's anti-neoliberalism.
Somehow that is not translating into electoral wins for you.
No. You see, the impact of neoliberal policies on particularly India's rural areas, has been very devastating. I mean, you can't have a situation where your kisans continue to commit distress suicides, and this is growing, the percentage, even according to Mr. Modi's own departments. I mean, it's growing. So that is, the struggles on such issues are bound to reflect. Now look at the working class. There is not one single public sector that is not being privatized. There has not been one single area of our economy that is not opened up for an automatic entry of foreign direct investment. Defense, communications, I mean, they are all considered to be great holy cows in terms of country security. Now everything has been opened up, and now you have this fixed term employment law that they brought in as an ordinance they want to bring in. Now that is going to destroy even whatever little security that the working people have in terms of their employment. I know all of you are already on contracts, so you have no security. But now to the actual factory worker, to reduce him to that level, with no security, no pension, no ESI, health benefits, etc. I mean, it's a disaster in the waiting. And secondly, to your other point, I mean, if you remember, let me just answer. You see, the whole discourse right now that we are having is centering around the point that the only way to evaluate the strength of any party is the electoral performance. But with the communists, remember, that's one of the yardsticks. I'm not denying it's an important yardstick. I'm not saying it's not an important yardstick. In a democracy, it is an important yardstick. That is one yardstick. But the other yardstick is also the strength of your struggles, which will eventually result also in your electoral performances. And those struggles, if you measure us on the basis of that criteria, you will see that that is a growing force. Well, electorally it may appear a declining force. So it has to, you will have to balance out the two.
But comrade, my question is, somehow for the mobile generation, the Marxist ideology holds very little attraction.
That's not true.
Except in certain pockets of India.
No, that's not true. But today, I mean, why is poor the good old venerable Pope also has asked for copies of the Marxist Das Kapital to understand the global economic crisis? I mean, it's not that, it's not attractive. It is, I mean, in the sense, people, but this younger generation, mind you, believe you me, about 10 years ago, if I had heard you saying what you were saying, I would have believed it. But today, educated unemployment is on the rise. Your skilled unemployment is on the rise. So this youth, this mobile youth, watching everything on the WhatsApp, watching everything on their cell phones, they are also realizing that what is it that is there in the future for us. 5 years ago, the job opportunities don't exist today. And your IT sector has reported a retrenchment of 67,000 people. I mean, that's huge for IT professionals. And so this is the youth's return towards radicalization in politics is being created by the objective conditions. And that is going to be our biggest, strength.
in 1985, you and Comrade Karat, etc., were made part of the Central Secretariat, if I remember correctly. You were the young leaders then. Do you see a younger generation taking over CPM?
Yes, yes. Younger generation is taking over at the lower levels. Our age, average age is falling in many places. In many places, we have put in now restrictions. And this time, in the party congress, there are 19 new faces that have been taken in the settle committee. Plus one has been kept vacant for a lady comrade of ours. So that means 20 new faces coming in, that is 1/5 of the settle committee. This is a big thing for the Communist Party. I mean, we never had such a big overall that is being done. So attempts are being made, but I still agree with you. I mean, we still have to reduce it further. There's no doubt.
Comrade, thank you so much for speaking with News 18. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure.
Thanks.